Ooh. Today, I want to share my experience of the semester abroad in Madrid last year with 20 pictures. That was my first time ever in Europe, and it was far more than just a semester of taking classes in a different country. It was an unforgettable journey that changed who I am as a person and how I look at the world. So I arrived in Madrid a few days earlier so that I could have time to adjust my jet lag. The first place that I went to was Santiago Bernabeu, the home stadium for Real Madrid, my favorite football club. I mean, soccer. I took the selfie outside the stadium thinking, wow, I'm actually here in Europe. It was definitely a surreal moment. So before the semester officially started, we had to go through a 10-day field trip in which we traveled to five, six different Spanish cities. And I wasn't expecting much, but I ended up learning quite a lot. So instead of being a regular tourist and taking pictures wherever we go, we toured these cities in a more academic setting. For instance, when we were learning history about the Alhambra, we actually had the opportunity to walk around in this amazing palace built in the Middle Age. And although the 10-day trip was exhausting, we learned so much and had so much fun. And speaking of fun, the Spanish nightlife was a big part of it. For many SU students, that was their first time in Europe and even the first time outside the US. So when a bunch of energetic Syracuse students came to a country where the legal drinking age is 18, crazy things happen. This picture was taken right before we went out and hit a nightclub. It was wild. So my semester started as soon as we came back to Madrid, and I immediately fell in love with the city. For me, it was perfect. It's big enough that it has everything a city needs, and small enough to walk around. It's modern, and at the same time, it kept its rich tradition, which can be seen from the architecture, the museums, and the public parks. And the weather in Madrid is wonderful. Even though it was the winter, it was sunny most of the time and barely rained. And because of the nice weather, people of Madrid love going outdoor. You can always find people drinking beer, smoking a cigarette on the terrace, or just chilling in the park, hanging out with friends. And there aren't many places in Madrid that you can't access. So I took a picture of this gorgeous sunset outside the Royal Palace of Spain when I was just walking around. And there are many tourists in Madrid, but not too many that becomes annoying. And there's pretty good balance between tourism and keeping the city original. Another thing love about Madrid is that you can find art and beauty everywhere. It's not just about the arts in the museums. Even on the street where I live, there are plenty of amazing artworks and graffiti. Spanish people are never afraid to express their emotion through the platform of street art. And of course, soccer, or I should say football. Being a Real Madrid fan for more than a decade, I finally watched a game live inside their stadium. The atmosphere was awesome. Watching a Champions League match alongside 80,000 fans, even someone who doesn't like football can have a great time. Real Madrid lost though, 1-4, and broke my heart. And of course, being in Europe, I traveled to a few other countries as well. The city on the top of my list was Amsterdam. It was a lovely city, clean, free, wild, and elegant. I spent a weekend there with my friend, and we loved it. The famous or infamous red light district was eye-opening too. The second city outside Spain that I visited was Paris. Paris was different than Madrid. Personally, I like Madrid better, but Paris definitely has its beauty too. The city is more spread out, and me and my roommate Jet took this picture in front of the Eiffel Tower, just like Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. Then I traveled to Czech Republic to visit my friend who at the time was going to school in Prague. Eastern Europe is very different than Western Europe in many ways. The architecture, the culture, the people, the food, and just the vibe in general. There's a lot less people, but a lot more nature to see, which I enjoyed a lot. Me and my friend also went to Barcelona to watch another soccer game of Spanish Barcelona team Espanyol because they just signed their first ever Chinese player, Wu Lei. And watching the Spanish fans chanting the name of a Chinese player was quite fun. Um, and even though he didn't score, they won the game 3-0. And visiting all these different countries were cool, but it was the people I met there that made my journey so much more memorable. Here's the host family that I stayed with for 4 months. Maria is a single mom with her three sons, Pablo, Juan, and Victor. I love them and we still keep in touch today. And this is a picture of my Spanish class. The lady in the middle is Cristina, our Spanish professor. She was an easygoing professor who turned our classroom into a fun playground where we just practice speaking Spanish freely. My Spanish improved so much because of that class, and I bought her some flowers on our last day of school. Well, this picture is one of my favorites and has an interesting story. So when I was in Paris, I tried some crepes or crepe in French, and I loved it so much that when I came back to Madrid, I searched everywhere to find a restaurant that made good crepes, and I found this tiny cafe called Crepissima, made some of the best, delicious crepes in Madrid. So it became my favorite restaurant in town, and I went there so many times that I became friends with the owner and the workers. Before I left Madrid, of course I had to go there to get another crepe. And when they found out that I was leaving, they made me a crepe for free. It was awesome. I miss the crepes, but I miss the people more. Oh, my semester in Europe was only a little bit more than 4 months, but it was enough to touch my heart and change me. Before that semester, I wasn't exactly a happy person and wasn't that into traveling. But that magical semester really inspired me. It made me look at the world differently with more love and appreciation. It made me value human connection more than anything. It taught me that there are many ways to live my life, and it's up to me uh, to choose what kind of person I want to be. In short, it makes me a better person and a happier person, 100%. If you had the chance to study abroad, do it. Thank you.